How's it going, guys? Gonna wait for more people to get into the chat. And yeah, gonna show you guys video games today. The Halloween edition. Just scary video games that bring really good profits. And this is actually my second time doing a live show. I think my first live show was the giveaway. So yeah, we'll wait for a few more people to get in and we'll do the live show. Let me know too if I am choppy or you can't hear me, because this computer has been acting up. I also have a lot going on this computer right now. Like there's a video rendering in the background. I got OBS open and a bunch of tabs too. I am still getting some of the stuff set up, so bear with me. Alright, just getting the tabs open, getting everything set up. Hopefully, I think it's going through. You guys should be able to hear and see me okay. Everything looks like it is running like it should. Very good. Thank you, Hoppler Picker. Coming in at dinner time too. I'm sure a lot of people are eating right now. I don't know what time it is where you guys are at. So yeah, bunch of valuable games I figured I'd share with you guys. Do like a Halloween edition. So they're all horror, kind of violent, I guess. Something to go with Halloween. And they're all pretty good games. There's a few that bring hundreds. So it should be good. Should be fun to go through. Alright, get my OBS open here. And then I will start sharing these games. Alright. You should be able to see a screen soon, and it should be sharing eBay, and I should be in the top corner. I got the chat popped out too, so that I can also see it. Hey, the crazy card. So yeah, hey guys, sharing some valuable games. Well, the first one's already up, as you can see, and it is Stubbs the Zombie for the original Xbox. Some people are asking a little too much. I usually get, if I do sell it, $65 to $75. These are all in Canadian prices for you guys right now. And something I noticed browsing through these, from a collector standpoint, like I wouldn't buy that game there. You know, I'd end up paying more for this one just with a nicer presentation where you can see the game and the game disc and everything. Makes you feel better, especially if you're spending $50–$60 on a game. Alright, so the next one, I guess you can kind of read them up here. Save that to the end. I got one very cool one at the end, and then I got a website to show you guys at the end that you can source games from when they do come up. You may have heard of it. It's called Limited Run Games. So the next one is Clock Tower 3 for the PlayStation 2. Actually, I have this game. It is a pretty good horror game. Again, it's a quick $30 to $40 game, and it has a quick sell through. It doesn't take long to move these ones usually. Some people are still asking outlandish prices for it, and I got just sold up or completed, I guess, so you can see kind of the sell through rating. Now, one a little more rare for the Sega Saturn is Mr. Bones. If you guys have any questions too, shoot me a question in the chat. My wife took the baby today. She's out at her mom's and she's staying the night, so I have the house to myself. So my dinner was cereal and some cold chicken. Apparently this one's not loading. Alright, well, we'll skip that one. So the next one is Splatterhouse 3, and it's for the Sega Genesis. This is a really good one to watch for. As you can obviously see for the sold prices. Easy $200–$300 game, depending on the condition, the label. This is one where conditions everything. Hey, Steve and Steph. Yeah, it's only my second live show. The first one was the giveaway. Sharing some very valuable video games. Doing a live show while the wife's away. Casey is gone for the night. So yeah, Splatterhouse 3 for the Sega Genesis is a really good one. Not just Splatterhouse 3, but any Splatterhouse game. They'll bring anywhere from $25 up, but Splatterhouse 3 is the most valuable one, and then Splatterhouse 1 for I think maybe not the 3DO. Maybe it was a 3DO. It's also about $100 game. Yeah, the live shows are a little easier. The editing takes a long time. I have a video editing in the background right now, which I'm pretty amazed the computer's still running and hasn't blown up with everything that's happening. Alright, I'm going to type a couple in too. I got a couple of these saved. The next one that I see kind of passed up a lot that brings good money, you see it at garage sales, is not actually a game, it's a controller. And it's the chainsaw controller for Resident Evil. I think, yeah, Resident Evil 4. I'll click a picture so you can get a better view of it. If you can find it in the case, then you're looking at, $80 to $120 Canadian. Without the case, this one, what was this? This one sold for $50 without the case. I don't know how you would ever play a game with that controller. It looks ridiculous to hold, but it sells for good money. And I won't show you that one at the end yet. The very last one I'm going to show you actually isn't in a game. It's a console. But here, I'll show you some. These are some $200 to $300 PlayStation 2 games that are also horror games. This one is actually an amazing game, too. It's called Rule of Rose for the PS2. Hey, going on, Grumpy? Tennessee Picker? Poplar Picker? Oh, we got lots of people just coming in. So yeah, Rules of Rose. Here I can go completed, show you guys that it actually sells like $250, $222, $176. That's a blue case. If you guys ever see a blue case PS2 game, that is because it is a European version, PAL version. The crazy card. We're right now, actually we're up pretty high. I think we're 82 cents on the dollar right now, which 82 cents on the dollar, so it's not too far off. No, they don't make a lot of zombie games for the Wii, you're right. They don't make a lot of violent or horror games for the Wii to begin with. There's some Resident Evils. There's a game that's in black and white except for the blood. It's a pretty violent game. Hey, Lonnie, how are you? So yeah, Rule of Rose, again, with the blue case, that's a PAL version. They're worth less money, so watch for the black case. And the next one... This is probably one of the most valuable PS2 games you can buy. If I could spell. There we go. And again, it's another fast seller. Very, very good game. Something I see passed up a little bit too. Mostly because I see PS2 games just passed up in general. There's a sealed one for $504. That's pretty good. I've never found one sealed. Again, a PAL version. I don't see a lot of PAL versions here, but they do pop up every once in a while. And then something else I'll show you guys. If you've never heard of Limited Run Games, well, here, I'll show you on eBay first. Limited Run Games was a small indie company that started making old like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega CD games, and they would release them on PS4. Somehow they got the rights with PlayStation to be able to use their platform and release the games, and they're called Limited Run Games. I'll take you to the website after, and the website, if you sign up on their email, people who collect video games are going to hate me sharing this. They let you know when the games are coming out. You can usually buy them anywhere from $25 to $35, but this gives you an idea. Like Wonder Boy came out I think 6 or 8 months ago on the PS4, and it's going $58. The collector's edition brings over $100, and they're usually pretty cheap at the website. There's $148. There's the special edition one. It looks like the old Sega Master System case. But if you go to their website, you can sign up on their email list, and they let you know when they're going to release the games. And I mean, obviously a lot of people scalp them to put them onto eBay. I've gotten a couple off them before as well. I'll show you guys the website here. So there's some of the games coming out. Like, I think these are probably all sold out already. Product is coming soon, so there's 17 days left for Next Machina. That would probably be a good one to grab. I could see that bringing good money come release time on eBay. Or obviously the limited edition one. So if you guys never heard of this before, you should check them out. They also do vinyl LP records that sell out like crazy too. And the vinyl LPs bring really good money. And they're literally video game soundtracks. I don't even know what that brings now. Night Trap. That's also a good game too. If you guys ever find Night Trap, like they have cool colored vinyls. That's a super rare game. Like it's, you know what? I haven't even looked that game up in months. It's got to be $800 at this point. If I can get this to load. Sega CD. Was it Sega CD or is it the Amiga that it was maybe worth more? It maybe was the Amiga that was worth more, but Night Trap, if you ever see it, good game to grab. CPHD, I pick up those old iMac G3s a lot. I either part them out or I sell them as whole. I usually get 100 to 120 without the keyboard and mouse. And I probably get like 175 parting them out depending on what version and like what color it is. I get them for next to nothing. So the one of the last things I want to show you guys, if you guys are out and about and you ever buy a PlayStation 4 console and it has not Resident Evil, Hideo Kojima or whatever, he was the creator of Resident Evil. He also did Silent Hill, and he did Silent Hill PT. It was a demo released on PS4, and it had Norman Reedus in it. And they've since taken the demo off the eBay store, and if you own the demo and it's still on your hard drive, this is what PS4s with that PT demo are selling for. And it is nuts. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, you should look at this, Lonnie. So, 1,400, 945, 1,000. That was, he ran an auction. That's about the dumbest thing you could ever do. But yeah, so PT demo 700, PT demo, that was too cheap. You could have made money off that one. And then that's it. I don't see many more consoles with it yet. I don't even think there's probably not that many even listed yet. So yeah, there's 756. Not a lot of them. 630, 11 watchers on that one. So yeah, if you guys ever see one, a PS4, if you're just buying PS4s for cheap to flip, turn them on and make sure they have that demo before you list them. I regrettably had a white one. I actually traded an original inbox NES I bought from a garage sale for a white inbox PS4. This is going like 3 years back when they first came out. Downloaded the demo because I used to like Silent Hill, and yeah, I sold it like a year ago for just normal PS4 price. Had no idea this was gonna happen. So yeah, I mean, if you wanted to keep the PS4, you could probably sell just the hard drive out of it with the game on it. But yeah, watch for that. It's called Silent Hill PT. It was a demo. You basically just run down a hallway repetitively and things happen, and that's how you can tell if it's the game. It'll say PT right on it. Really good find if you come across them. I'm gonna start watching all the PS4s I get now. Yeah, and then regrettably I sold mine for $400. So a little bit of a piss off, but live and learn, I guess. Sucks. Also, speaking of Resident Evil, or not Resident Evil, Silent Hill, those are all good games to get to. Silent Hill on the PS2 is another really good one. Show you guys that one too. So easy $50, $30 game. Basically any of the Silent Hills. It doesn't matter if it's Silent Hill 1, 2, 3, or if even they're for the PS3 or the Xbox 360, the remakes. They still do really good too. I remember that too, Lonnie, with the Flappy Birds. People were selling their Apple iPhones for like $1,000 because it had Flappy Birds installed on it. Unbelievable. It wasn't even a good game. Like, it's crazy what people pay for some stuff. I'm a game collector and I wouldn't pay that for Flappy Birds. That's about it for Halloween type horror games. I couldn't think of a ton. Most horror games bring decent money. Even cheaper ones like Manhunt, and which is a PS2 game, or Xbox game too, actually, Manhunt. That's like a good $15, $25 game. I'm trying to think if there is any more. I can't think of many more horror games. The Chainsaw, I've come across a couple of those. The Resident Evil controller, which you can obviously see right here on the screen. I forgot all about that. That was special edition for the GameCube. I've only ever come across one of these, and it wasn't even worth this. A couple years ago when I sold it, it was probably about a $35, $40 controller. So there you go. I just learned something new. Those have gone up in price. I'll have to watch for those. Well, let me know if you guys have any other questions or want to know about any more rare games. Oh, hey, thank you, Steve and Steph, for the super chat. Much appreciated. I'm glad you enjoy the information I'm giving you. So yeah, I guess that's about it, guys, for Halloween games. I'm trying to think if there's any more. PlayStation 2, like I said on the 6-pack chat last night, watch out for just that Japanese and anime style or horror games. Yeah. Or, you know what? Another rare Atari game. Atari made adult games, like Atari sex games. And they can bring decent money, too. Actually, speaking of Atari, you know what? I know a really rare Halloween Atari game. It was it Friday the 13th on Atari? I'm pretty sure it was Friday the 13th on Atari. Oh, what was it? It wasn't Friday the 13th, I guess. Huh. I'm going to look that up. Because I know there's an Atari game. I could have swore it was Friday the 13th. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's what it is. If you guys have never heard of this, because Atari games are, for the most part, worth nothing. They're like $1 or $2. So I see them thrown in bins sometimes for free. And if you know what you're looking for Atari, there's good games. Like, there's a complete in-box one. Oh, that's cheap. That's got the figure, too. I might actually buy that. Anyways, $504, $277, $100. $37 for the cart. Some of these might be replicas. But yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the Atari, 2600. And then yes, Lonnie, there's Atari sex games. I wonder if I can just, I don't know if that'll pull it up on eBay or not. Oh yeah, there's one of them. Mystique, beat 'em and eat 'em. So yeah, that one's graded too. I would never get it graded. What a waste of money. But they had adult Atari games. One was you ran around as Colonel Mustard with a boner, and you know you can YouTube it if you want to see the rest of the game, but it's pretty funny. Yeah, basically, Two Dots getting it on. You know what? You could probably show the animation on YouTube without it being much of an issue. Let's see if they might just have a list of them here. Oh yeah, there's some imaging. That's the Colonel Custard one. Yeah. There's the Colonel Custard one again too. Atari sex games. It's a real thing. Yeah, no doubt. The new meaning of a joystick. Actually, another adult game, if you guys ever find it, you know, before we get to this list, This is way off the Halloween topic now, but is the man game. Oh, screw off. It's not supposed to be a new tab. And the reason this game is really valuable... Oh, I wonder if they even let you list it on eBay anymore. Maybe they... Oh no, it's the guy game, not the man game. The guy game. So the reason this game is so rare and valuable is basically one of the girls in it ended up being 17 years old. The premise of the game is a trivia game where the girls answer, and if you basically guess if they get it wrong or right, or you select out of the 3 or 4 answers which one you think they picked. And if they get the answer wrong or you get the answer right, they take their top off and like get progressively more naked. So one of the girls, I guess, that was in this that takes her top off claimed to be 17, and then this guy went bankrupt and he was charged for child pornography. All the games were pulled from the shelf, and now you can sell them on eBay, which is kind of surprising that you can sell them on eBay, because I mean, you are selling a game with a naked girl who's 17 years old. So maybe eBay doesn't know that. I'm sure if they did, maybe these games would be flagged more. You can also get it on Xbox as well, but the PS2 game is the one that had the most nudity. So if you ever see the guy game, it's a pretty valuable game, and they do sell. And it has boobies in it, I guess, if you guys care. I don't think there's many other adult games. The Atari adult games. Burning Desire, there was one. Jungle Fever. I had that game on the Atari. I'm not even going to show that one because I know what happens for that one. Night on the Town. Cat House Review. You know what? There's more. Beat 'em Up and Eat 'em Up. The one you're laughing at, Lonnie. So he's at the top of a roof. He goes back and forth, and I'm not even going to describe what he shoots, and they catch it with their mouth. This is a very adult-rated YouTube channel now. There's a couple other adult video games. There's BMX Triple X, and you could ride around BMXs with topless girls. That's another one that's worth a bit of money. And then there's a Blockbuster exclusive. It was Red Hot Volleyball on the Xbox. And I think that's about a $15, $20 game. That'll start to go up in value, I bet, as well. But yeah, Atari had a decent amount of sex games. And then the other one that was super known for adult games was the Sega CD and Sega Saturn, because FMV, full motion video, was such a big thing back then. It's really, really terrible acting, and it's really crap shot scenes. But because there's full motion video, there's a bunch of adult themed games for Sega Saturn and Sega CD too. Those games, same thing. They bring a decent amount of money. There was what else was there? Leisure Suit Larry was a PC game. That was another adult game. You basically walked around trying to pick up on girls. It also got released, I think, on PS1 and PS2, and that'll bring good money as well. Okay, Lonnie. I will bring up the adult games for the Bolo at the next Reseller 6-Pack show, which, if any of you guys in the chat don't know, Reseller 6-Pack show is on every Sunday night, different time depending on where you live, but if you join the Facebook group, it tells you whose channel it's going to be on and what time it'll be on. Yeah, there's a whole thing about adult games. I don't know if I have any sitting around here that I can grab really quick. Doesn't look like it. My wife leaves me alone for one night and I'm already on sex topics about video games. I can't really think of many more adult video games. That's about it. I think BMX Triple X is still a pretty good valued game. Not as high valued as I thought. $14 game, $16. Does anybody have any questions? Steven Steph resell killers. If only my parents knew some of the games I was buying. You know what, they're not much worse than like the Grand Theft Auto games and stuff like that. You can go to the Grand Theft Auto game and sit right down at a strip club. I'm trying to think. I can't. I'm trying to think off the top of my head if there's any more horror games I could think of. The Silent Hills, I guess I showed you the values on those. The Resident Evils are good. Another tip for PS2s is look for bundled games. Like Medal of Honor is worth nothing on its own, but they sold a lot of 3 bundle sets that would have like trilogies of Medal of Honor. Those things will bring $30, $45. CPHD. I prefer PC because I find modern day Macs are overpriced for the specs in them. Like the same, for me to buy a $2,000 Mac, I can build a PC that will do 4K gaming in Ultra HD on like 4 monitors. Now, ease, I can't argue a Mac's definitely easier to use. And the old G3, I like the green one. That was my favorite color, G3. I still have a green one, and I put a bunch of StarCraft logos I had printed out on it, and I've cleaned it all up and have it running a bunch of old games. Wait till Tanya's channel to do it. Yeah, maybe. I'll just give you guys some of the Halloween bolos on the weekend for the 6-pack show, and then we'll wait till Tanya's channel, and I'll just drop the adult game bolo. I'll just share that that Atari game, just the screen share a buddy on the roof with the girls on the bottom. Oh yeah, you did watch it on the G3. I actually sold both of those ones, and I bought a newer G3 that had the 500 megahertz processor in it, and then I upgraded it to a gig of RAM, and I am currently converting it so I can run an SSD in it, which is proving to be harder than I thought, but I should be able to make it work. No doubt, Steve or Steph. I don't know which one's chatting. I don't know if Tanya will like to see it, but what was it? Atari. Let's see if we can bring it back up. I don't think I want to hit images. We'll just go back to that. Do you think we can get Tanya to maybe like put this as her like little screen tag thing for the reseller 6-pack show? Here, you know what? I'll play it for you guys.
So here we have Beat 'em and Eat 'em.
This is what happens
for the Atari
in this game,
2600.
8-bit glory.
Once again, this is a pornographic game published by the company Mystique, which we have all come to know and love. Basically, that guy up there on the,
game
you know,
for a young,
ejaculant
person, I guess.
is definitely yellow.
Sex ed at a young age.
No, I know, some of you are probably going to say, what the crap? You always
Yeah,
use
there's
a
lot
real
of-
2600
yeah,
and the real
there's
games.
custom
Now
revenge.
you're
That
using
got pulled off the
emulation.
shelves for being racist because of
Well,
the Indians and everything. It was a whole big
Okay, here's the
controversy.
deal.
Actually, you know what?
This
That
game
was a
uses the
pretty
paddle.
valuable
My
game,
paddle's
like,
broken.
Dang.
This is the only game I have that uses the paddle,
Yeah,
so.
you can read why it was not.
And honestly, I'm not gonna buy another paddle just to play this game.
Bad PR for
But
Atari.
I do have this game, so don't worry. But I have to resort to emulation. So back to the game. Good lord, that's a lot of comma.
Yeah, it's a $200 game.
Jesus. Well, you beat it, you eat it, and
But another one to watch.
at this point, I can't eat it all. It's just too much. One-man bukkake right there. And that's it. Touched on the lives. Sources tell me that every 69 points you gain new lives, but whatever. Well, that's about it. Time for a score.
Like one for sale. Just
8.
one. $189.
8 out of 10. Definitely.
The guy's voice is inappropriate. Yeah, it is. I'll make it a little screen at first so that she has to lean in and look, and then we'll just blow it up to a nice big image. Yeah, Lonnie, I don't think I'll play the video. She probably would just shut the channel down real quick. Oh, I'm surprised she puts up with half the stuff. The G3, the OS on it is 9.1 point something. I don't remember. It's nothing right now because trying to put that new hard drive in it. It had 10.1, 10.01 or whatever, and it didn't run very good off that, and it crashed a lot. Oh, hey, Tanya. That's good. Nice to see you. Probably don't scroll back up in the chat. I did get all fancy pants on OBS. I've been playing around with it for a while. I actually know how to work it pretty good. I've just never done live shows with it. I'm amazed it's running though, because I have OBS running. I have the other web page open. I have YouTube open, streaming the video too. And then I have Wondershare open, which is editing a 20-minute video in 1080p. And then I have my camera connected down below, and it's transferring about like 22 gigs worth of data. So there's a lot happening on this. So if it does stutter at all, my apologies, but that's probably why. I'm sure it's, yeah, I can feel like just the heat blowing out of it. It's running pretty hot. Also why I prefer PC over Mac there, Mr. CPHD, because I don't think you could do that many things on a Mac and have it run smoothly. And I don't usually have an issue with viruses either on this PC. Good virus program, keeps it good. Whatever, Steven Steph, you just got here. But yeah, Adult Atari games, watch for them too. They're worth a lot of money. And then I guess I could share with you guys another thing to watch for too. Instead of, like, everyone knows to pick up a Zelda game, to pick up a Mario game. My grandpa's like 72 years old, and he knows to get a Zelda or a Mario game at a garage sale. So I try to watch for more odd and unique things, like 3DO consoles, 3DO games. And if you don't know what a 3DO looks like, they came in a lot of different kinds. You get Panasonic 3DO, you could get a Vizio 3DO, you get the Gold Star 3DO. They bring really good money though, and actually these ones are prone to break a lot. The first model, the FC1 Real, the launch editions, the lasers always go out of them. 3DO games too, you can seldomly buy a 3DO game for under 50 bucks. Even 3DO sports games, you'll get $15 to $20 because just not a lot were produced. Like, it just starts going into car parts when you try to look up consoles. Also, when you're looking, do 3D0 and 3DO because they do change them a lot. Like, people don't really know what to type. I've actually sourced some pretty good ones typing 3D0. Someone doesn't know what they have. No one's really looking it up. Yeah, 3DOs are really expensive. They look like VCRs. Here, I'll show you a bigger image. Like, I've seen these. The first one I ever got was one of these. It was at a Goodwill, and it literally said VCR, and it was $14.99. So that's what it looks like. That's actually a disc tray that pops out of there. And it had one controller port, and you had to take the second controller and plug it into player one controller's controller if you wanted to play two-player, which sucks because you can always just pull the player 2 controller out. The other one that's really hard to find, I have here, so I'll just get it instead of trying to find it. So that, actually here, I'll make the screen bigger so you can see it. So this is the FC10. It's the, wow, it's so dusty. Games aren't usually dusty. So that's the one that's going to be more reliable, less likely to break. And if you ever source these, you don't need any special cord for them. They just take standard RCA or S-Video, and they take just like a completely standard power supply. PS1, PS2, Xbox, like so many things use that power supply. The ends of laptop chargers. This one will still bring 175 to 200 bucks. If you ever see them. So yeah, I try and look for the much more odd and unique stuff that you see passed over. The first model 3DOs do bring good money, but like I said, 9 times out of 10 they're broken. If you do find a working one, really good money. Like 1 view per hour too on that 3DO with the box. That is pretty cool though with the box. Something else that you don't see a lot for consoles are like an Atari Jaguar. This is another very expensive console. There's just the box. That can't be from China. Yeah, I'm gonna call that a fake ad with 0 feedback from China, $15, because these are ridiculously expensive consoles. Video game and consoles. We'll rate to consoles. No, Lonnie, you can literally keep playing that beat 'em up and eat 'em up game. The value, it just keeps going. Yeah, Tennessee Picker Turbo Graphics is another really good one, especially if you can find the one with the CD and the expansion slot. So there's some actual Jaguar CD, Atari Jaguar systems, $500, really rare consoles. It's not something you're going to come across a lot, but it's something that a lot of people won't know what it is, and they'll pass it up. So something to watch for. Atari Jaguar. I can show you the Turbo Graphics since it's brought up in the comment, but that's another pretty good one. If you want to get really fancy, Nintendo made a TV with Sharp. It was a Sharp television. I think it was like a 17-inch, and it literally had an original NES in the bottom with controller ports. So there's a TurboGrafx 16 right there. That's a pretty standard version. They're really hard to find with that back piece. It covers the back wires. It adds to the value. There's Splatterhouse again. You saw that earlier for the Sega. That one's for TurboGrafx. Decent game. TurboGrafx games are really expensive too. Same with the cards, because TurboGrafx took they literally, I don't have my debit card on me. They literally look like a debit card. Like TurboGrafx games, they're as thin as a debit card. They slide in, and then the TurboGrafx had a CD attachment that makes it worth a lot of money too. Really, Lonnie? He had a bunch of the Jaguars. I didn't know. I need to actually get me one of those Jaguars. That is one of the things missing from my collection. I do have a TurboGrafx 16. I do have a 3DO. I have an Atari Lynx. I have 2600, 3500. I even have something. A lot of people think a Sega Master System is the very first Sega console. It's not. But here's a Sega Master System, because I see them passed over a lot too. See you later, Steve and Steph. Thank you for the super chat, guys. Have a great night. So there's a Master System console. You can commonly get 90 to 100 and 120 for a Master System, depending on what you bundle with it. But anyways, Sega had consoles before the Master System. One was the Mark II and one was the Mark III. There's probably nothing for a Mark II in here. No. Oh, maybe that's one. Oh, that's the SG-1000. So there's Sega's very first console. If you guys have never heard of this, it's called an SG-1000. It's basically a computer. This was to compete more with like Amigas and the Ataris and Intellivisions. If you ever find one of these, that one's coming from Australia. Most of them were from Europe. $300 to $500 all day long, very easily. I actually had an SG-1000 and I sold it a few years ago for like $225. Yeah, Lonnie, there is a Panasonic version of the GameCube that came out in Japan only. It's crazy looking too. It's silver and has all these wild buttons on it and like does a million things. It's quite the thing. Let's see if we can pull up a Mark III. So there's Sega Mark III. Again, it's easy $100 console. It kind of looks like the Master System. It's basically what led to the Master System. The games are even mostly the same. They have the same sort of 8-bit color and graphics to them. But something that you see passed over a little more too. People don't always know what it is. If you ever see one of those. Wow, I wonder if he sold them all, Lonnie. I should message him and see. See what he wants for a Jaguar system. That'd be crazy to add to my collection. I do not have one of those. I think I have one, two. I don't have them all out either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have about 14 of them out right now. And then more stacked away in boxes. One of these days I'll get to going and cleaning through them. You can see if there's a Nintendo TV on here. I highly doubt it. It was made by Sharp. They teamed up with Nintendo and they made a TV literally with a Nintendo in it. They made 2 versions for North America, and then in Japan, yeah, it's gonna bring up that Smash TV. And then in Japan, they made a second version that had a Super Nintendo in it. See if there's any for sale on eBay. There is not. I've seen them before for sale on eBay. It is worldwide. Maybe it'll bring up a Chinese one or something. And when you do find them, they bring just stupid money. An actual TV that's worth money. I can at least show you guys a picture of it since there's none on eBay right now. there's what they look like. They have big feet on them. The feet always broke off on the bottoms there. It's super, super common for that to happen. And then you flip that front lid open and you stick the NES card in. 2 controller ports are there. The cool thing about this TV is Nintendo natively puts out RGB signal. I'm getting nerdy on you guys. And this TV is full RGB with the NES. So that's the cleanest and crispest picture you could get with an NES without any sort of mods. I'm not going to dive into the whole RGB and SCART connections for TVs, though. That's way too much. But yeah, so if you are a video game fan, probably the best way you can play your Nintendo game. Like, the nicest looking. Kind of rare system. There's even there was one for sale on eBay. There's even a Nintendo PlayStation prototype. Yeah, Lonnie, Nintendo TV. It was pretty cool, eh? Best way you could play a video, or best way you could play an NES game would be on that TV. There's not going to be one of these for sale on eBay. If you ever find one of these too, it's a prototype. Nintendo and PlayStation Sony used to work together. And if you want some history, basically Nintendo wanted to come out with a disc-based system. They teamed up with Sony. Sony created this disc-based system. They worked on a prototype. They got it working. It was also supposed to play carts from the top. And what basically happened is some tech show, I think in Japan, they went to release the the Nintendo / Sony console, and Nintendo released a console and they paired up with, I believe it was Panasonic, and basically kicked Sony out. And Sony found out through this basically like live kind of unveiling thing, and it ended up being a revenge thing on Sony, and Sony produced the PlayStation 1 and then the PlayStation 2, which is hilarious because PlayStation 2 ended up being the #1 selling console still to this day. I think it was like 2.1 billion consoles or something like that. It's a crazy number how many PS2s were sold. But yeah, basically in vendetta against Nintendo led to PlayStation making the PlayStation 1. And if you never find a prototype, but sky's the limit. You could probably charge $1,200-$1,500 and sit on them. It's really, really neat. Back in the day, it was only thought there was like 1 or 2 in the wild, but more and more have been popping up. So I don't know if they maybe made a production run that they were going to release, but I've been seeing more and more come up. I highly doubt I'll ever see one around here. Where you guys would probably find one is if any of you guys live near Seattle, because that's where like Nintendo headquarters is and everything like that, and it's very techy there. Yeah, pretty neat. There's some old video game history for you. Is an Atari 7800 valuable? They're not as valuable as some of the other Ataris, but having the box with it will definitely make somebody want that Atari. Completed box. Whoa, I don't know what I did with the screen there. Let's try that again. If you guys don't sell a lot of video games, CIB, if you ever see that, it just stands for complete in box. Which probably go console here. There might not even be any consoles in the box. Yeah, that's $200 with a Beat to Hell box, so pretty good find. $90 for one? No. I mean, 7800s, I don't list for that much. I've never sold them for that much. Even locally, I don't get that much for them. I haven't sold one for 6-7 months, so maybe it's changed. The controllers add value for sure. Yeah, that's more about what I got for these things. $60-$75. Oh, they have gone up a bit in price, which is surprising because most of the Atari stuff's gone down over the years, other than Jaguar. Good find. 7800 in a box. That's a super old console to find in a box. You can also watch for like really old Pong clone consoles like Radio Shack Pongs, and Intellivision Pongs. There's a whole bunch. Intellivision's another good one to watch for. I see those passed up a lot. Same with ColecoVisions. Yeah, I seen that, Lonnie. They did think it was the only one, but like I've seen 3 or 4 now sell on eBay, and there's another guy that's got one on YouTube right now, and he got it restored and fully working. So I think that's what happens though. Like one comes out, they say it's the only one, and everyone goes all batshit crazy over it. It makes the news, and then other people go, "Hey, I got one of those in my closet," and they dig it out, and then you see a couple of them hit the street, and I mean, it hasn't made the price drop on them at all. The last one I saw, I think, sold for like $1,800. Tennessee Picker. Yeah, sealed games for anything help. I'll even buy sealed sports games other than PS3 sports games because even sealed, they're still not worth anything yet. But I mean, a sealed Sega sports game, you could still easily get $15 to $20 for it depending on the game. Really, Lonnie? I find 7800s here a lot. Like, a lot. It's a pretty common thing. It's been a few months since I've sold them. And I usually get about 75 bucks for them on Amazon. With, like, just a basic paddle controller, and that's it. Another thing you guys can watch out for here is a console variation, too, actually. Which, I know you can find these in the States a little bit, but this was actually... Oh, spelled Crystal wrong. This is actually a Canadian released console, and it's a Crystal Xbox, just an original Xbox. I got one downstairs, but I'm not going to haul it all the way up here. If you guys ever buy an original Xbox, plug it in and make sure it's not modded, because modded Xboxes with like custom hard drives and stuff will go for more money. I have a modded Xbox with a 1 terabyte hard drive in it, and there's like 4,000 games in it. They're all emulated NES, Super Nintendo games. I can put an Xbox game in it, and it'll rip it right to the hard drive. And it does add value, but eBay tends to shut your listing down if you put ROM or emulator or modded. You can seem to get away with mod. Like you can put Xbox Crystal mod, or you can put Xbox Crystal XBMC mod or something like that. But every time I put modded ROM or emulator, it just gets shut right down like within an hour or two. Yeah, oh yeah, I see lots of 2600s too. They're not worth that much really, the 2600s. They're like the super common ones. Same with the juniors too. They're 2600 juniors. I don't get into a lot of that. Like I have an Intellivision, I have an Atari 2600. I do have a 7800. I have a ColecoVision. And that's about it for the old consoles. I have a few Nintendo games too, and I do have all the Nintendo consoles, but I was more of a Sega fan, so I got a lot more Sega Genesis, Sega Master games, and Sega CD, Sega Saturn games, and all those consoles. Maybe the 7800 sold better here in Canada. Who knows, Lonnie? But I do see a decent amount of them around here. Some of these Crystal Xboxes, I can usually pick them up locally for like 30 bucks. And I usually put them on Amazon though, because I get about 140, 150 on Amazon, and they sell pretty quick. An autographed modded Xbox. Who autographed it, Tennessee Picker? That's cool. And no, Lonnie, if I get 2600s, I literally like flip them locally for 25 bucks, $20. I'll throw in like a cheap game or two with them, and I never get much for them. Or I'll use them for trade barter to get other things. Just people looking for one. That, from a collector standpoint, that's a good thing to do too. I'll use a lot of common games, and I'll use them for trade to get just higher value games. But yeah, if you guys got any questions or want to know anything, just shoot it in the chat, because I don't really know of any more horror games that I can share with you guys. I'm probably going to start doing a once a week live show on Mondays, where I'm going to share really odd and unique tech and video games, stuff that you really don't normally see, and just share a couple of them and share the values with them so you guys can know what to look for. We covered a couple of them recently. John just covered some typewriters in his video, but there's some other pretty cool things. No way. That's pretty cool. Static X Wayne. Static was the lead singer. He died a couple years ago. A signed Xbox. Neat. I don't have any signed video game memorabilia. Buddy of mine used to have a whiskey bottle signed by Tom Green. It was pretty funny. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I used to have some signed stuff. It was a radio promotion, really. Some of those consoles too, speaking of promotions, if you can ever find like promotion consoles, stupid good money. Like a Mountain Dew original Xbox. Oh. Yeah, thanks, Lonnie. I'm going to try doing them, I think, every probably Monday night, and I'm going to mostly try and stick to just oddware, really odd software, and, you know, uncommon games, uncommon tech, stuff you don't normally see, because you know everyone knows what a Super Nintendo is, and Nintendo is. Everyone knows what a lot of PC parts are, but like some of the old vintage graphics cards and things. Actually, another hint that's off topic of video games is graphics cards right now, especially AMD Architect graphics cards, have had a huge bump in price, and it's because of all the cryptocurrency mining happening right now. Like, for example, I have in my computer GTX 690 Signature Series 4GB graphics card. That might mean something to some of you guys. A year ago it was a $900 card new, but a year ago it was probably about $175 $200 card. Currently they're selling for $375 to $400. There's $100 graphics cards selling for about $200, like Radeon RX 290. I think it's still going for about $300. RX 290. We'll take a look. Oh, that's 280. Well, let's see what a 280. No, I don't think they make a 280. So this is like, even these $129, that's pretty cheap, but that'll keep going up. 110. These used to be $50 $60 graphics cards. They're not amazing. They'll play your games. I mean, unless you get an X one, that's a pretty high-end one. But it's all this cryptocurrency. So graphics cards have seen a bump in price for old ones. Not like vintage ones, but Windows 7, Windows 8 kind of era graphics cards, mid-range, have had a huge bump. Yeah, Tom Green is really funny. He's a Canadian fella, Tom Green. And he was married to Drew Barrymore, which was like the weirdest thing. Drew Barrymore married to Tom Green. But yeah, the Monday shows, yeah, they'll cover old tech, like the Nintendo thing, and really old computer parts, old Windows XP 98, Windows 3.1 stuff, old like Voodoo graphics cards. I will be covering a lot of that stuff, and then a lot of really odd games you've never probably heard of, and it should be fun. Hopefully it'll be a good show. Yeah, that'd be cool, Tennessee Picker. If you got a pic of that autographed Xbox, if that's what you're talking about, that'd be neat to see. If you guys ever come across some of these super rare consoles I just showed you, and you know, you want to sell them really quick for a decent price, you could always shoot me a message. Good way to find some rare stuff, potentially. Let's see if there's a... Before I go, I'll bring up this Mountain Dew. I can't spell worth a piss right now. Is it a Mountain Dew? I don't know if it was a Mountain Dew. Yeah, I don't think their marriage lasted very long, Lonnie. I'll do it the short way. Xbox. Hey, there they are. Mountain Dew Xboxes. So yeah, if you guys ever see these, they're crazy colors. They look like kind of like Mountain Dew. They're just neon green. Super high value. Halo edition ones too. That's another $200 one. Not the clear green. It actually has to say Halo on the front. The clear just green ones aren't Halo edition ones. Obviously, everyone knows colored N64s bring money. White PS2 Slim's another good console to watch for. It was the SingStar edition. Same with silver PS2 Slim consoles, and they made a silver fat PS2, but that's a European version. That brings pretty good money. They made a black PS1. That brings really good money, and the reason that brings so much money is the black PS1 was like an editor version or something like that. You could edit games on it. I wonder if there's any for sale. There's probably none on here. They have an actual name for it. It's kind of just lost my mind, but it was a black PS1. If you guys ever see a black PlayStation 1, developers PlayStation, that's what it is, a developer's PlayStation. They're worth really good money. Wonder if we can just find it doing this. Six ads. There might be no developer PlayStations on here. I found one in my life, a black PS1 of her developer edition. They also made a PSX, which is basically a PlayStation 2, but it had a home screen like a PS3. It was really neat. Iron Front, well, you could always go back and watch it after, I guess. There's the PSX console. It was only sold in Japan. Came with the remote, played DVDs and everything, and it loaded up like how the PlayStation 3 home screen loads up, made the same kind of noise. You could like burn CDs and watch TV through it. I think it had DVR functions. But another something to maybe watch for. Who knows? You guys might come across it. Like I said, that odd stuff, I see a lot of people find it. They don't know what it is. They don't even know how to look it up, so they just leave it. Alright guys, well, I'm gonna call it for a show. I think I've been on here long enough now. I don't know what I'm gonna do though, because like I said, my wife is gone for the whole night. She's staying at her mom's, so I got the house to myself. I'll probably drink a little bit. Did the live show. Talked about adult games, I guess, because she wasn't here. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you. Actually, I might as well plug the auction this Saturday. It's on Dwayne's channel, Mothership Products. I will be selling a bunch of video game stuff, some really old vintage stuff, some old postcards from the early 1900s right to the 1940s, 50s. There's even some World War II postcards in there. Vintage slides, vintage photos from the 20s from Africa, from African children being converted to like Christian and stuff. Some old tools and more jewelry jars. So that'll be this Saturday. You can join the MSP auction Facebook page. You know what? I'll pump a link. I'll put it all down below in the comments of the video. So if anyone's watching this after the fact too, all the links are down below, and that'll be for the Mothership Products YouTube channel as well as his Facebook page. And then the Reseller 6-pack is this Sunday, and same thing. Links will be down below. There's a link for the Facebook page for the Reseller 6-pack, and on there it'll tell you whose channel it's going to be on and what time it's streaming. And it's a great show, lots of good information, and there's a ton of people on the panel, and it is really worth checking out. So thanks, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. As soon as I exit it. There's OBS.